Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest, one of the greatest athletes in IFBB Pro League Classic Physique. Please welcome all the way from New York, Steve Laureus. How are you, Steve?
Ron, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure always. Everything is good, and I'm so intrigued by you giving me the chance to do this interview with you today.
Yeah, you know, there was an old, I think it was an Eminem song where they said, we forgot about Dre, you forgot about Dre. I think we started forgetting about Steve Laureus because, you know, you haven't been competing as much. But let me remind people, so your pro debut was 2018, right out of the box, you won the Pittsburgh Pro. The next week you did a 212 show, just for the heck of it, so we're not going to talk about that. Olympia, 7th place, your first Olympia. And in 2019, we only saw you once, I believe, at the Arnold Classic, where you took second to the late George Peterson. And that decision changed the way Classic Physique was judged from that moment on, where it became a different set of criteria, where it wasn't really the same as bodybuilding. They said, we're going to judge bodybuilding this way and Classic Physique that way. You know, we've had a couple of years now to think about that. Have you seen a real change in the way Classic has been judged since that show with you and George?
Absolutely. I think the judges is trying to look at it in a different aspect by performance. I would say the way the athlete comes on with their posing, the way they carry themselves on stage, conditioning. And the most important is, I think, is the shape. You know, I think that the shape of an athlete now in Classic Physique compared to 3-4 years ago is a big difference.
Yeah. So we saw you the next year at the Arnold, where you took a very close second to Alex Cambronero. And then you had to remind me before we started recording, either my memory is just going to hell, which it probably is, or I forgot you did Tampa last year. You were 4th. And that was the show that Ernst, the young kid from Germany, won. And then a couple weeks later, it was 1 week later, Dallas. That was a tough show. Robert Timms first, Logan Franklin, you were in 3rd. So what's been going on since then? I mean, you shut things down last year after that show. I was wondering if you're going to be in the Arnold this year. You weren't in that. And I don't know what your plans are, but what's been going on with you, Steve?
A lot of other things been going on outside bodybuilding. You know, I think you know that I'm a therapist. I specialize in postural integration. So after the 2 shows, I've been focusing a lot on, you know, because I have a girlfriend, she lives with me, and I have a son, you know, so I just trying to see if I can put myself in a better position, you know, being more active in my family's lives and stuff, and being there for them and focusing on a, and also I'm in school full time, you know, for I'm in nursing school right now. And a lot of that is the reason why I haven't been so active. But after those 2 shows, Tampa was one of the show I kind of rushed because I wanted to qualify for the Olympia, but it was not the best thing. The best choice actually, because I technically 12 weeks out, I started prepping for the show, and my off season, I was carrying a lot of body fat. I think no matter how hard I try to squeeze to come in and condition, it just didn't happen. So, and also the Dallas Pro. So I kind of like squeezed for another week. You know, I came in a little bit better, but I don't think it was enough time to really like bring the conditioning that I needed.
Yeah.
You know, because I was doing excess amount of cardio. Honestly, it was the hardest show I've ever prepped for.
Wow.
Because I was pretty burnt out with cardio and stress. Just my body was just screaming a lot of stress. If you look at my physique, you know, weeks out for the show, it was just so much going on with it, you know?
Yeah. But geez, let me back up. So you're working full time and you're going to school full time now too?
Yes, I'm not taking a lot of classes, but actually, you know, I take some online classes, but I am in school for to be an RN.
Wow.
And I work, you know, with my practice, I work 3 days a week. You know, I do therapy on myofascial therapy on some of my clients, you know, and, you know, I like to be active in that aspect. You know, I just don't want to be like the type of guy that gets, you know, just sponsors and rely on sponsors and just like sitting at home and get paid, not being active. So I like to do other things as well, you know?
Yeah. I mean, registered nurse, that's about the best job. That there always going to be a need for that job. You know, it's one of the best careers I think anybody can get into if they have the patience and and the affinity for it. So, congratulations on pursuing that for one thing. But yeah, but getting back to how people have been forgetting about you, because, Classic has been the one division where we've seen the talent just roll over again and again and again, where if you look at the first year's Olympia in Classic, it was like Danny Hester and, oh, he's going to kill me. Who's the
Breon Hensley?
No, I know Breon. Who's the guy that trains at your gym, Powerhouse?
Arash.
Arash. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a whole different. Breon's still around, but look at the guys now. It's a whole different crew, and we got all these young guys. People are going goo over. Ramondino from Brazil, Urs from Germany, Terrence Ruffin. Has it been kind of tough for you to watch all these guys get all the accolades and everything, and they're sort of forgetting about some of the established guys like yourself?
Not exactly. I honestly, I'm very happy for some of those guys, because they put so much effort into it, and the division changed so much, and these guys have awesome genetics, great physiques. So if you see my social media post, and even when they post something, I always comment, I always like their pictures, support them, because this is what I do as well. I'm not the type of guy that just, would not be happy for another guy, because those are their time. These guys are shining. So even though my name is not being mentioned, I'm so happy for them. But I believe one thing. I always believe that just because I haven't bring the best package yet, I'm only defeated if I stop doing it, if I stop competing, if I'm not training, if I'm not trying to improve. But sometimes it just takes time for people to just like really nail it. So look at Brendan Curry. It was years he was just placing 8th, 9th in the Olympia years after years, and he came in and ended up winning. Same thing with Ronnie. It's a long list of guys. Even Terrence, Terrence, it took him time as well, to come in, in this type of condition and putting everything together in his physique. So, and Big Ramy is another example. Yeah. But me, I always believe once everything is put together, I'm definitely going to bring the best package. So I just have to focus on that first, one thing at a time. Do I believe I can win the Olympia? Absolutely. I think I have the tools to win it, but have I proved myself yet to the fans and, certain people? I haven't. So I just don't want to make that statement and say that. And people say, is this guy crazy? Why is he saying that? He haven't really come in the best condition. So why is he making this statement? It's because I believe in myself,
Yeah. You haven't come in the best condition, but a couple times I've seen you in your social media. I know lighting's different in gyms and that than it is on stage, but still, I've seen you looking much, much better a few days out or a week out from a show. And then at the show, watery, something's gone wrong. I mean, what's been going on at the last minute or last few days for these last couple shows that didn't allow you to really showcase the physique 100% the way you could?
This is what I've been thinking about a lot last year, actually. I think when I'm getting ready for a show, I'm very excited. I'm having a lot of fun in the gym. I'm training. My diet is on point. Everything is going everything is going well, actually. Yeah. But I think when it comes to peak week, I started not doubting myself, the amount of anxiety that I go through. I feel like it's not fun for me anymore. It's almost like taking a math test. So I'm very stressed and I don't get a lot of sleep. So I would say sometimes three days out, 2 days out, and the day out for the show, my mind just racing. I hardly get any sleep, and I'll just get up, digesting all that carb. It just doesn't really process, for the stage. And I think just cortisol overall, just ruined the look that I have.
Yeah. I didn't get to ask you because we haven't talked in a long time, but I know, George and yourself trained at the same gym. At one time, I think you had the same coach. You moved in the same circles. Were you very shocked, very saddened? Because it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I barely knew George. You actually knew him a lot better than I did when George passed.
Oh, man. This is it's sad. It's very sad because I know George personally. and I've trained with George, and I know Justin. You know, Justin is a great coach, and he's very passionate about his athletes. And just waking up that morning just to see it was all over social media, you know, it just, I was speechless, and I just don't know what to say about it. You know, George was, if you knew George personally, you know how much of a great guy, always smiling. He's always having fun. You know, it's like a big teddy bear, and everyone loved George. Yeah. A powerhouse, everybody loved George.
Yeah. I mean, we're losing people. Everyone loved John Meadows. Everybody loved Cedric. Everybody loved Sean Roden. These are guys that they spread a lot of goodwill. They were, you know, smiles for everybody, kind words for everybody. But I mean, this has been a crazy, I would say year, but now we're going into another year of losing people like this. That's one thing I want to get into. And I know you've always been very health conscious. You're very sure to you do this whole cleansing procedure after shows and everything. Have you stepped it up even more to be even safer for yourself since we've seen all these horrible things happen to people, to bodybuilders?
Yes. What I've been doing since I came into the sport, you can ask all of my coaches, Justin, Neil Hill, every competition I come off, you have to come off. You know, the only time I think last year, I feel like I felt it when I came off, and, you know, even with the post psychotherapy, I think it's an age thing because I'm getting older. I'm in my mid 30s now. But before any post psychotherapy that I do, I come off, I do my cleansing for about 15 days to a month. I have a lot of energy. I always feel great, but people never believe that. It doesn't matter what you do, what you say, people are going to critique it. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's lying. He's just full of bullshit. But I don't really give a damn, you know, what people think. But that's the reality of it. You know, Neil Hill would have me come off everything and get a post psychotherapy done to really let my body heal and my receptors to be refreshed, because he knows you can't constantly feeding the body the same toxic, you know, drugs all the time.
Right.
But after Dallas, I came off, and I was pretty much shut down because I think losing those 2 shows kind of humbled me a lot. And I didn't do the right thing. I was just eating, you know, my eating disorder was probably the worst it's ever been. I've never eaten so bad in my life. You know, I was very confused. I didn't know what to do at that point until Honey Rembad started giving me some pointers on what to do. Basically, he kind of revived, you know, myself again by telling me to go to the doctor and do all my tests and get my blood work done, you know, help me with a good post psychotherapy, what to do. So I feel like that actually brings back my enthusiasm for the sport again by training and eating and carrying myself more accountable, you know, by eating, you know, clean again. And so it was just like, is a guy that I've been trying to talk to and work with for a long time. And he's such a big idol to me, and him coming out of, you know, the blue and just started helping me, you know, it was huge for me, you know. And ever since then, I've been really killing it in the gym. You know, right now my off season is the leanest I've been in the off season. I've been carrying myself. I can do any videos and photo shoot, even though I haven't been active on social media. You know, I don't look bad if I take my shirt off. Normally I would be a little bit fat and, you know, out of shape.
Yeah.
But he really helped me mentally and see a lot of things that I wasn't doing, you know, especially as a professional, how to, you know, help myself accountable as a professional, my mindset and everything. So that's that, you know.
Yeah. Now what's going on with your sponsorship situation these days? Who are you with?
I'm currently not with anybody. I was in a 2-year contract with GAT. GAT is a great company. Actually, I was very happy with them. It was my decision to let go of the contract because in that phase, when I feel like I was not being active enough, I didn't want to be one of those athletes is getting paid from a company and I can't really produce for them.
Yeah.
So it's not fair to me. It's not fair to it's not fair to the company. I'm trying to say.
Sure.
So I have other source of income. So if that didn't work out, I can easily, step away from that and said, guys, I'm sorry, I can't really produce at this time for the brand. So I just didn't want to be in a salary, getting paid and just not producing the contents they wanted me to produce. So I got myself a lawyer and get out of the contract. In the meantime, I could work on myself to get better.
Cool. So yeah, this is you're heading into your, what are you, 30, 34, 35 now?
35.
35. Okay. So this is like your prime, basically, as a bodybuilder, as a class physique competitor. These are your prime years right now in the next few years. So are you feeling that real excitement to this is when I have to make it happen? You've had time, you've accomplished some things in the sport, but if you're going to make this really happen and get to that level that everyone was telling you, many of us have been saying, Steve's one of the greatest structure, shape, muscle bellies, everything. He's got everything you could possibly want for a class physique champion. Do you feel like this is the time when you need to make it happen?
Absolutely. I think there's a few things. I think presentation, confidence is one thing that normally ruin a lot of things for me when it comes down to a show. I just need to have fun and going out there and can't wait to show what I have. And if I look at it this way, I think, the amount of stress and anxiety that I go through would not be on that level. I think knowing that I'm going to be competing and very happy just to show the fans what I have, it's just going to eliminate a lot of that stress. I'm always afraid of my presentation, how I'm going to present myself out there. I'm always thinking what people are going to think once I go out there. And I just lose sleep and doesn't come in the way I need to come in. And I think now with, I have Honey, in my corner that helps me from time to time with a few things. And I think how my off season is going right now, I'm very regimented on, getting up, doing my cardio, eating and training. So I've been following his FST7 training. Everything I do now with my training is FST7 style of training. So I feel like this helped me a lot, especially his supplements as well. Those are great supplements. Yeah. I'm just worrying about one step at a time. I just need to go out there and win, a show the qualified first, and then I can focus on, the bigger things. But as far as competitive wise, like thinking about other guys, I'm not thinking about anybody. I'm just thinking about myself because I'm my worst enemy. I'm my worst enemy. I just have to beat the Steve Laureus 2019. I haven't beat that look yet,
Yeah. I mean, that was a great look. So, when you look at your physique, and I know maybe Honey's giving you some input too, because he's great at picking physiques apart. You and I could say that guy looks perfect, and Honey will go, no, he could use more sweep in his outer tricep. And, he's got this eye for detail. What are some things that maybe he's noticed that you've noticed that other people, what have you been working on the most to make sure the next Steve Laureus we see on stage is better physique wise than the last one?
My side shots are my weakest shots. And I think we're trying to bring more of a 3D look to chest, delt, and front to back density, and also my side leg as well. My legs are very big from the front and from the back, but from the side, it's weird. But, I haven't squat and do these type of exercises in a long time because I was afraid of herniated disc because I do have one. It doesn't flare up because I'm a therapist. I know how to work on myself, but and also my friends worked on me as well. So I said, there's no way I want to put 500 pounds on my back anymore, on my 30s and stuff. So I haven't squat since I was like 30, 31, 4 years ago. So now I'm just trying to slowly applying some squat exercises and also glute and hamstring tie-in. Those are the areas that I need to improve. And mid-back, I would say, like from the trapezius all the way down to the lower lat. So I just have to get those areas a little bit more defined.
Yeah. I remember at one point you still had, I think, like 10 pounds to go in the limit for the class. I don't know if in the meantime that you the last time you weighed in, are you all the way at the limit now for your height?
Well, what happened is last year, when I did my off season, I went up to 250 in the off season. That's technically 20 pounds heavier than what my actual off seasons normally is.
Oh, wow.
So my off season is normally 230, but I was 250 in the off season. And I feel like what I looked like when I was 230, when I started taking the weight off, what I look like at 230, I feel like if I look like that at 245, 240, you know, I would have bring a cleaner, more sharpness on stage. So I'm just trying to maintain that balance now. What I look like last year, 230, with that amount of body fat, not to get fat again at 250. So right now I'm 245 right now. It's much more of a cleaner look than I had last year. So I don't want to get the excess amount of body fat over, I would say over 14% body fat ever again.
What's the weight that you have to make for Classic?
215. I have to weigh 215. When I did Dallas, even though I didn't look, you know, the sharpest, when I did Dallas, I was 209. And in my opinion, I think if I had lost another 4 pounds of fat, 3 to 4 pounds of fat, I would have looked very, very sharp for the show. So overall, I think I need a solid 10 pounds of muscle. Where things are going right now, with the rate things are going right now, I think I'm in a good spot. You know, that's what I see, but you never know what, Honey is going to say.
Yeah.
He's the judge, you know?
True. He's very, very critical, very critical. He's tougher than most judges that I've ever known, honestly. But so we're talking in April. You're in a really good off season right now. The Olympia is not till December, which gives you a lot of options. So in your head, are you starting to look at show dates and think maybe this one, maybe that one?
Actually, it's very hard for me to make a decision right now. I feel like the way things are going is so great. With training, I want to get a little stronger, and I feel like I'm not really happy with certain body parts yet. You know, I think it's going to take a little time. Can I get into a show before the Olympia? Absolutely. You know, but I was thinking maybe Arnold next year would be a better choice, so I can really not stressing and rushing and burn out all the muscle tissue that I'm going to put on in the next few months of training. It's a tough decision to make, but I still have time to make that decision.
Right.
So until then, I'm just trying to focus on the day-to-day process right now.
Yeah, I could see where the Arnold might have a certain extra appeal to you, because that's a show where I think you have some unfinished business. Whereas, you know, you almost won it. You came very close to winning it that year, 2019. I don't know what the scorecard said, but it was a 20.
Yeah,
It could have
it was a 1 point decision.
Yeah.
It was just a 1 point decision. It was just one it was one pose too. It was just the side chest.
Wow.
You know,
crazy.
So but I look at all this, you know, thing now. I said, you know what, it's the past.
Yeah.
So I have to start fresh again and just focus a lot more on what the future holds right now for me, and trying to stay healthy by keeping my mind healthy. That's the main thing. Yeah. Very focused, especially for the training. I just have to make sure my training is going the way it is right now, and don't come off my diet. So I've been really regimented when it comes to my food, eating clean and staying very sharp in that aspect.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. I can't remember ever seeing you out of shape, but maybe you never posted any pictures from when you were 250 and out of shape. So because every time I've ever seen you off season, whatever, the waist looked small still. You didn't have a big round face like a lot of us get. So you carried the weight well. That's all I can say to you. So
thank you, Ron.
Cool. Well,
yeah.
How can people follow you? What's your Instagram, Steve?
Steve Laureus. Steve.Laureus.
Steve.Laureus. Yeah. Some other Steve Laureus took the other one. Okay. I will be following you closely. I'm interested to see what's going to be happening in the next few months. You know, I still think you have all the potential in the world. I think you're one of the best We just haven't seen you at 100%. And at 100%, who knows, man? You're going to be
Oh,
very,
that's the ultimate goal. And
yeah.
I think every athlete, whether it's bodybuilding, basketball, any type of athlete always say that, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's going to be the best you've ever seen. Everyone always say that.
Right.
But I'm not afraid to make that statement, but I know exactly what the fans actually see, what they critique me on. I see the same thing and I say the same thing. It's not that I don't know it. It's not that I'm not here doing the work, but it's just, to me, it's always like the peak week, it's always something always go wrong. But we're just trying to make sure that, honestly, it's a learning process. Yeah. The past shows I've done, if peak week is always the issue. And also if I feel like I'm 3 weeks behind prep, maybe. So I look at it when I come off the stage and I said, all right, so I didn't win because they say that I wasn't sharp enough. So it's two things, either that I was holding a lot of water or maybe I was 3 weeks behind still. So was it rush or was it, what's going on? I just need to learn from that and move forward. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't even done that many contests as a pro. Correct me if I'm wrong, but even counting that 212, now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pro shows. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
It's not a lot. Yeah. So you're scratching the surface of your potential. You still got a lot of good shows left in you, I believe. So I look forward to seeing
Yeah.
those.
I think, I don't knock any guys that actually go out there and present their physique by competing a lot, but there's just so much impact your body goes through a show. Yeah. Even if you was not on any, any type of supplements or PEDs or anything like that. I think just the diet alone and the training is just so much wear and tear in your joints, your body, and then also mentally. When you sit there and eat, the same type of food every single day, and you have to eat 6, 7 of them from day after day after day after day. So it's like if it's a 16-week prep, it's a lot of days. So there's just so much that your mind plays with you by saying that you should eat something else. Why are you doing this again? You got to be mentally strong. There's a lot of challenges that your mind go through. So to really tap into elsewhere and say, you know what, this is what I got to do. It's discipline. So it's very, very hard. So when you finally get this thing accomplished, to actually reset yourself again, you can't really be a normal person because you're trying to carry yourself as a professional, but it's a lot.
Yeah. I've read some statistic that something like 70 or 80% of all people that start a prep, and this is amateurs, they don't make it. They don't end up on stage. They give up at some point during the prep. They can't handle it. It's just too much.
Yes. It's me, I think a lot of it is just discipline. I think if you have the discipline to get up and do it every day all over again, if you're looking at your goals, you got to have daily goals, weekly goals. If you don't have goals, like I said, dreams are just dreams without goals. You got to have goals, and discipline comes with it as well. You can't tap into your goals and achieve them if you don't have the discipline. But it's just the mindset is everything.
Sure. All right. Well, Steve Laureus, it's been so good catching up with you. I want to remind everyone to please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit that notification bell, like the video, share the video, leave some comments for the algorithm, and follow steve.laureus on Instagram. Hopefully going to be seeing him in a few months on stage again. He's been one of my favorite physiques for a few years, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you up there again, Steve. When
that means a lot, Ron.
Whenever you're ready. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ron. That means a lot to me.
Cool. Best of luck with that, with the nursing program, studying, all that stuff. You're keeping busy, that's for sure.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with Steve Laureus, and we'll see you next time.
All right, Ron. Thank you so much, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. And it's not the last of me. I'm still working hard and trying to achieve those goals. I know what I need to work on. And stay tuned, guys, for the best version of me. So we'll give you updates.